Hello, what's up, Vibers? It's your boy Kai. Welcome to another episode of the Vibe with Kai podcast. Today we have special returning guests. I think it's now official. I think you've been here more times than most people, which is exciting. You're like my most frequent guest. Chelsie Maccarone is here. So excited to
Guys.
see you. She's the amazing owner of Healthy Minds and More Counseling Services with the brand new website, Flex. It's looking good. I love it. Chelsie is a licensed mental health counselor with a passion for holistic therapy. Her practice helps people balance mind, body, and spirit. And in this episode today, we're going to be talking about postpartum mental health. It's their expertise over here. We're hitting the expert area, and Chelsea's going to share some tips and strategies for some new moms and moms in general. She'll also clear up some of the common myths and give some advice for those that are seeking help. Plus, later on, we're going to play a fun game of Would You Rather? Would You Rather? And that's going to be specifically for the subscribers. And so if you're not a subscriber, make sure you subscribe because that part of the interview is only going to be for the subscribers. So subscribe. Anyway.
Okay.
Yes, now. Chelsea's caring and balanced approach makes her a fantastic returning guest. Always happy to have her here. Chelsea, what's up? Hi. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. It's so nice to see you again. Happy, we're recording this on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Happy Sunday to you.
Happy Sunday.
Do you get the Sunday scaries at all?
No.
No. Like you're fine like heading into the week, like you're usually like
I own my
right?
own business and I love what I
Yeah.
do and I make my own
Yeah.
schedule. So if I have
Mm,
if I know that I'm gonna have like a hectic weekend, I can do a
yeah.
lighter Monday. No.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I used to have the Sunday scaries a lot, but not anymore. Not as much as I used to. Like I'm pretty good heading into the week now.
Yeah.
And you know,
Yeah, sorry. Okay.
no. I literally what I was about to say has nothing to do with what we were just talking about. Outside, I just remembered that I never took my medicine this morning. So I'm going to ask that you say what you were going to say. And as you're saying that, I'm going to reach into my book bag, which is right over here,
Oh no,
and
I think you should definitely do this ADHD
grab
stuff.
my medicine because
Is
I
it
need
just
to
me
read it.
or do you have a lag?
A lot? No,
Yeah.
I don't, there's no lag on my end.
Okay, so that's just
Yeah.
me. I was gonna say, I think the only time that I have Sunday scaries equivalent is when I'm coming home from a vacation and I don't give myself either a day or half day buffer to catch up on
Yeah.
all the stuff that I'm supposed to do or usually do on the weekends.
Right. No, I get that. Um, that's the adulting part that I struggle with sometimes. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not good at the whole adulting thing. Let's take our medicine. This is exclusive. Watch Kai take his
This
medicine.
is for subscribers only.
This is for everybody. They get to see this. This one's for everybody. Here's the thing. I stopped taking my medicine for like a couple weeks, which I shouldn't have done. And that's one of the worst things that you could do because your body is like, what the hell are you doing? My body rejected everything.
Oh my goodness.
I went into a very deep depressive state because I just went cold turkey on medicine, which is not a good thing at all.
Oh my gosh, no, that's definitely not good. I work with some clients who do that, and it's definitely very difficult for them to go on their money. But I will share.
Yeah.
I had one client reach out to me because I'm holistic and wanted to get off their medication. So we were working with their doctor and they weaned off their medication and they were feeling great. They were doing all the interventions that we were doing, and then all of a sudden they tanked.
Oh, wow.
They just tanked. And I was like, I think we need to get back on the medication. And I'm holistic, so I'm like last case scenario.
Yeah.
And I think the component that they were missing, because the medication wasn't working, which is why they wanted to stop. I think the component that they were missing was all of the woo-woo stuff that we were working on together with that medication.
Right.
So I think sometimes people look at medication as like the only fix.
Which is a mistake, yes.
It's a mistake. I think sometimes you need both. Because I know so many clients that come to me and they're like, I tried this medication and nothing works. It's like, well, what else are you doing?
Right, exactly.
right?
I always tell people, because like people ask me all the time on my platform, like, what medicine do you take? And I tell them, like, I'm on my antidepressants, I'm on Wellbutrin, and for my ADHD, I'm on Focalin. And what I tell people all the time is that the medicine just gets my foot in the door, right? But I still need to open the door. I still need to walk through the door. Like, I have to do that. I have to do like the work that I do with my therapist, the work that I do on my own. That is what helps me manage my depression, my anxiety, my OCD, and my ADHD.
Yeah,
Like the medicine just kind of like is a cheerleader, just like, go you can do this.
right. Right. It holds the symptoms, I guess, at bay enough for you to do the
Yes,
work to
yes,
really get to the root.
yes. I love it.
Kind
Thank you
of
for
like
allowing
insulin.
me. Thank you for allowing me to take my medicine at the beginning of this interview.
You're
Now
fine.
the interview is going to be good because
I thought it would be great without the medication.
it's gonna.
This
I
is
mean, it's gonna be
normally
great
me going,
anyway. So today we're talking about postpartum mental health. And I love this topic. When you pitched this topic, I was really excited about it because I think I told you before, most of my audience are people that identify as women. A lot of moms. I have a lot of moms that are in my audience, and there's a lot of questions that I see people in the comments make. I get in my DMs and stuff like that about things like this. And so to have this kind of conversation, I think is really important. So I want to jump right into it here. You pitched this topic, postpartum mental health. It's a critical topic, obviously, that probably doesn't get as much attention as it should, right? Can you explain what exactly postpartum mental health, postpartum issues are for the people that don't know?
so postpartum is that time after giving birth. And people don't realize men also experience
Interesting.
postpartum. I don't remember the statistics because it's been a long time since I took my course, but I want to say it's like 1 in 10 men experience either postpartum anxiety or depression. Don't
Mhm.
quote me on this on the stats, but it was more than I expected or
Sure.
knew. So it's that point after having a baby. Um, some experts say it's up to a year. Some experts say it's up to 2 years. Some say it's 6 months. I say your life is never the same after having a baby. So you are postpartum 18 years after
Hmm.
having that baby. It just
Yeah.
looks and feels different. So that postpartum mental health care really is when you're in the thick of it with those littles. You want to say a year, you want to say 24 months, but it's really that kind of like littles um time in your life.
Right. Right.
Um because there's so much physical shifting and there's so
Hmm.
much emotional and chemical shifting and then the lifestyle shift.
Right. What kind of issues do people face? Like, what kind of, especially for like new moms specifically,
Yeah.
what kind of issues do they face?
So there's postpartum anxiety, which I don't think is as popular or as known as postpartum depression.
Mm-hmm.
Postpartum anxiety is where you have those intrusive thoughts. So I don't want to trigger any of the moms out there, so I'm going to do a trigger warning. If you're
Mm-hmm.
having postpartum anxiety, you may not want to listen to some of these intrusive thoughts. But so an example of an intrusive thought is I'm going to drop my baby down the stairs, right? I'm going to throw my baby down the
Mm-hmm.
stairs. Those are intrusive thoughts.
Yeah.
When it's postpartum anxiety, it's okay. So either A, gonna sit. This is an example they gave me in the live singing course. They're gonna sit on the stair, hold the baby, and scoot one step at a time so that
Yeah.
they don't drop their baby. Or they're not gonna go upstairs with their baby and wait until
Right.
dad's home or another caregiver is home. If there's two moms and beg us or whatever. But and they'll just kind of do things to protect from that intrusive thought. So that's postpartum anxiety. The other one is postpartum psychosis.
Okay.
That's when you don't do the things to protect.
Ooh.
So you have these thoughts of, I'm going to stab my baby and maybe act on it.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Does
Postpartum psychosis needs to be medicated. If you
right.
have those thoughts, if you're having thoughts but not realizing you need to protect, and if you know someone who's kind of having like shake the baby and like that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
they need to be medicated. They're not bad moms. They're having postpartum psychosis.
Right. Is this something that's more common in new moms, or is this just like, mothers in
New
general?
moms.
New moms, yeah.
Usually new moms. If untreated, I guess it could just like anything else. If untreated, it can become a
Yeah.
lifelong thing. And then it's postpartum OCD.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not as specialized in OCD, but that's, you know, again, some of those intrusive thoughts and that constant checking, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a few different diagnoses as far as like
Mm-hmm.
postpartum. The interesting thing is not all of them are with the DSM. So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of practitioners will treat like postpartum anxiety like regular anxiety. But I
Right.
think there's a lot of like normalizing that needs to come in because there's a lot of guilt and shame,
Mm-hmm.
right? So a lot of these moms, when they have these intrusive thoughts of, um, oh my God, we're gonna get into a car accident and the car's gonna roll over, so let's like have agoraphobia now and not leave the house.
Mm-hmm.
Then they feel like they're mom. Then they feel isolated. Then they feel like, so there's so many things that come with it. And then not even the diagnoses component of it, you have the baby blues, which is the first couple of weeks after birth.
Right.
You have um the isolation, like I talked about, because you think of like historically, it took a tribe, and it took
Mm-hmm.
a group of women to care for these kids, and now we still have the tribe. It's just not free.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really about figuring out a support network, whether it's paid for or free. Postpartum Support International is a great resource online. Um, But yeah, I don't know what your question was anymore, so I'm
Oh no,
rambling.
no, that was my
I'm
that was
doing
my
the
question.
ADHD thing, so it's your turn.
No, you're good. So what are some things that I was gonna say returning moms, but like not necessarily new moms. What are some common things that moms that have already maybe they're on their second or third child? What are some issues that they normally run into postpartum?
I think it's the same stuff. And then another one that I forgot to mention is postpartum ADHD.
Mm, mm, okay. Cool.
Yeah. Um, So I think sometimes these after birth, like the young years after birth, even if it's your third, fourth, fifth child, every pregnancy is different. So every postpartum experience is different. So
Mm,
you could never have felt postpartum depression,
yeah.
never felt postpartum anxiety before, and then your third kid, you're like, why am I crying all the time? It's been 3, 4 months. This is not baby blues. What's going on?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know. So yeah.
So what are some I feel like there might also be some like misconceptions out there in regards to postpartum. What are some common misconceptions that you're aware of that you think you should clear up for the people listening right now?
I'm so in the field that I don't know so many of the misconceptions that
Yeah,
like the layman could think of. And so like
right.
being right on the spot, I can't think of anything. I'm sure like if I had some time, I could think of
Right.
something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think that there's a bounce back culture that I'm
Okay.
seeing
Mm-hmm.
where it's more pressure physically than mentally, but it's like, getting back to your body, getting back to
Mm-hmm.
like fitness, like that bouncing back.
Right.
So there's a lot of pressure there. Um, and I think also too, a little bit of it is also regional as well, because as I'm talking, I'm thinking with like where I'm at, South Florida, um, there's a heavy push for C-sections down here,
Okay.
right? And so that's a whole other thing. There's a lot of birth trauma that I see down here, um, which your birth story plays a big role in um your adjustment, I guess, postpartum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I know that your practice is mainly like it revolves around like a holistic, like well-being,
Yeah.
that like that's the core value of your practice. So how can new moms incorporate like a holistic approach into their life to help support,
Yeah.
their postpartum mental health?
I think that's a great question. And of course, a lot of the stuff that I'm going to throw out here again, can be expensive.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Postpartum doulas or postpartum nurses are
Mm-hmm.
so helpful. So a doula generally is somebody that helps you during the birthing process,
Mm-hmm.
the pregnancy process. And they're kind of like an advocate. They kind of are like a breathing coach. Like they can be there for your birthing partner too.
Yeah.
I personally had a doula. I loved it. what I didn't know about at the time was postpartum doulas. They come in and they give you that same support, same love, same compassion that the
Yeah.
birth doulas do. I think that can be so beneficial for moms. They'll do anything. They'll cook your food. They'll take care of your laundry. All the things that maybe when
Mm-hmm.
you're nursing baby or with baby during those first crucial like weeks and
Mm-hmm.
months, that maybe you feel like you can't do. Again,
Yeah.
the tribe, just not free.
Right. Right.
So I think that that's a really good support. I think a mommy and me group is also very supportive because there's so much isolation, so
Yeah.
much feeling alone in that postpartum state. Because no matter the gender of your birthing partner, they don't know what you're going through unless it's a woman who's already done it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if your birthing partner is a woman who had the first baby, they get it. But even if your partner's a woman and hasn't had a baby, she's not getting it. So the birthing
Right.
partner, you feel so separate from and so isolated from in those first couple of months. And so a mommy and me, locally I know of a few, but they have them. I personally did with a mommy and me yoga class. It wasn't like a regular yoga class, but
Mm-hmm.
you had your baby there, you were able to meet moms, do a few stretches, do a few playing with the baby.
Right.
That's a really good support. And you get to meet other moms and they can be supports for you and they can kind of help out. Another way to support those early stages of postpartum, I call it food train.
Okay.
So all those people, they're like, how can I help? How can I help? And a lot of them really just want to hold the baby. But when they're asking like, how can I help? You say, I want you to organize a food train. Here are my contacts. And then
Mm-hmm.
basically what they do is every day a new person drops off food.
Okay.
So what we didn't have like a whole train, but we had a good friend of mine. My husband would go shopping. She would come over, pick up the food. Her husband would make the food and then
Mm-hmm.
drop it off. So I
Mm-hmm.
was always having like well-balanced cooked meals, and it
Yeah.
wasn't put on us,
Right. Right.
If you can do like a wash and fold, drop off that laundry so you don't have to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
I know my experience. My daughter and I both had thrush, which is candida in her mouth, and I was
Okay.
breastfeeding, so on my breasts. And the only way to prevent it from continuing and spreading is to wash everything in vinegar and like whatever. So we were washing
Right.
clothes 3-4 times a day because, you didn't want it
Yeah.
spreading.
Yeah.
And that was my mom did that, and that it was a lot. If I didn't have my mom there, if I was,
Mm-hmm.
there's so many couples where they don't have family, they
They don't
don't
have
have
like the same
friends.
types of resources.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
don't have the same types of resources. So if you can outsource whatever you can, outsource it. These days with Instacart and all that, that
Yeah.
helps.
Yeah. Yeah. What are some common mistakes that you see people make? Especially for new moms specifically. What are some common things that you're like, oh no, wait, that you have conversations about?
So I try not to use the word mistakes with new
Yeah.
moms because so much of it is trial and error. So
Sure.
much
That
of it
makes sense.
is I
Yeah.
already feel like I'm doing something wrong.
Right.
I think the biggest thing is don't be afraid to ask for help.
Mm,
Don't be afraid to hold those boundaries. If you don't want people in your house with your newborn, they
hmm
don't have to be in your house with your newborn.
hmm
I know a lot of moms, I guess, who had COVID babies were really good with this,
mm,
but
hmm
because it was a quarantine.
hmm
But I find like before that and actually kind of going back, like it's really hard to say no to family when you want to. And so I think if you need to connect with somebody who can help you support you through holding those boundaries. But
hmm
um yeah, I think forgot where I was going with it, but yeah, I think not being afraid to ask for help, not being afraid to say, I'm going to hold my baby, can you take care of XYZ? If you really want to help, please do XYZ, because a lot of people just want to come and hold the baby.
Right. What role do you feel social media has played in this? Because I know that social media is big for a lot of moms, to share their story or to, find support, whatever it may be. What role over the last couple of years have you seen social media play, both good and bad,
Yeah,
for postpartum mental health?
I think it really depends on your algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so my algorithm is totally skewed. Like I see all this supportive, like this is the fourth trimester and women in
Right.
their underwear, showing
Mm-hmm.
you their diaper postpartum and showing you
Sure.
their baby bump journey and like all that stuff and like a lot of positivity. But I've also seen a lot of misinformation when it comes to like sleep training and all this stuff, and like a lot of like push on this like Western white culture for child rearing, which isn't always the best, right? There's a lot of pressure to breastfeed or not breastfeed, like there's just pressure, right? And so I think, also, before I forget, another good resource for moms is La Leche League. La Leche League will help with the breastfeeding process if you are choosing to breastfeed. And if you're having a hard time with that journey of either giving it up or whatever, they're very supportive. They're very helpful. So La Leche League. So back to what I was saying, there's just this pressure, right? Like, and so I see a lot of misinformation. So I think kind of making sure your source of the reel or the TikTok or whatever is a credible source.
Sure.
And also what works for you, you know? Everybody's breastfeeding journey looks different. Everybody's bottle feeding journey looks different. There's so many things out there that it's not always wrong. I mean, if you're not abusing your kid,
right, yeah.
you know. And I tell all my clients, like, I have biases. So even in this interview, I have biases. Like, I don't believe in sleep training. A lot of people will jump down my throat for that. I believe in supporting my child to sleep even now at 3. So, you know, I definitely have some personal beliefs, and I tell all my clients, like, hey, take what you want. And the same goes for your social media. Take what you want, you know? If it doesn't feel right, then don't do it.
I was gonna ask, like, so what role do you play, right? So obviously this is your job, right?
Yeah.
This you help people. So at what point in the process do people normally say, "Hey, Chelsie, help me"? At what point do people normally reach out to you?
All points. I've had women who were planning a pregnancy. I had people, you know, women who were pregnant. I had people who came to me for not pregnancy, got pregnant during our whatever, and then found out I was perinatal certified, and then was like, oh, let me just stay on during this. I've had postpartum moms come to me anywhere from 2 weeks to 6 months to whatever. And then I do kind of parenting guidance as well. I don't want to call it coaching. It's not a certified coach, but I definitely I think I have enough information working in youth and family for 10 years. And then the training and setting that I add up clinically. So I do some parenting work. So teenagers, I have a client that sees me about their 17-year-old, you know, so
Right, right.
Doc, I do it.
That's fair. So I know before we started recording today, and even just now, you mentioned this, the before part, you know, the perinatal, right? That's the before, right? Am I saying it right?
Yeah, perinatal is before, middle, and after, right? So it encompasses the planning, it encompasses the pregnancy, and it encompasses the postpartum phase.
Right. So when mothers, especially new moms, what should they do to prep themselves for success in a postpartum mental health, you know, mindset? What can they do beforehand?
So I think I'm going to do a disclaimer. No matter how much you prepare, there are going to be things that you never thought were going to happen or could happen or you're not prepared for. So let's start there. Also, I have bias, right? So a big part of what I think is hopeful is prenatal nutrition, right? And that's not just taking prenatals. There are things that you can take to help with conception. There's things like all that stuff, things that you can just help your body. I think I'm gonna have to backpedal too. One of the things that I think women should do postpartum is pelvic floor therapy. Okay. So back to this question. We'll go into that later. So because this is kind of linked to it. So I think also almost like pelvic floor therapy, but like working on the transverse abdominals, working out, getting a good fitness routine going, because pregnancy and labor is a big toll on your body. So the more physically fit you are, the easier the labor is going to be, the easier the pregnancy is going to be. And then also too, I don't want to get like shamed for this, but if you have what to expect when you're expecting, throw it away. Throw the book away. And the reason I say that is media, our culture, movies, whatever, inflicts this concept that pregnancy is a sickness and
Mm,
is scary and is painful. There's
mhm,
this whole other side of pregnancy and birth that we don't really talk about very often, and it is a painless or minimized pain pregnancy. It's called hypnobirthing.
mhm.
There's a great book, Marie, I can never pronounce her last name, but found it. It's called The Hypnobirthing Book or whatever. Um, it goes into like the history behind birth and midwives and how it changed in our American culture.
Right.
And I highly recommend starting to get rid of, and this is even before pregnancy, get rid of fears
Mhm,
surrounding pregnancy and birth.
mhm,
Fears will stall your birth. Fears will inflict your pregnancy will impact your pregnancy. So definitely working through some of that anxiety, some of those fears, I think will really help your pregnancy and birth journey.
mhm. Right. This is so fascinating, and obviously, I'm a guy, right? So the main thing that I'm thinking of, like this whole time as I listen to you speak about all of this, is what can I do? Like if I was, a father, wanting to make sure that my partner who's giving birth was set up for success. Like what could the dad do, or the
Yeah.
partner, whomever it may be? What can they do to help?
Yeah. So birthing partners, I think, can get on the journey with the birthing person, the mom, right? The birthing mom. In the sense of we just talked about exercise, right?
Mhm,
Get out there and walk with her. Get
mhm.
out there and lift weights with her. Be her motivator, be her cheerleader. Because if you're not a physically fit person and you're trying to get fit for this journey, it's really hard to do it
Yeah.
alone. It's really hard. If you already are a fit person and you're planning and maybe you're pregnant, it's harder when you're pregnant to
Mhm.
continue it. So get on board, be the motivator. We talked about nutrition, right? Don't come home with Ben and Jerry's and tempt her, right? In that planning
Yeah,
stage.
yeah.
If she's trying to be fit, if she's trying to eat healthy, really get on board with that. Um, During the pregnancy stage, the same thing, nutrition. So there's a lot of weird cravings that go on. So I say yes, give in to the cravings, but also encourage healthy foods. So for example, if I have a lot of sweet cravings and bland cravings my first trimester.
Mhm,
First trimester, you lose a lot of that energy, right?
mhm.
And this wasn't my partner, it was one of my girlfriends who had it taught it before. She was like, go get fresh pressed juices with
Mhm.
vegetables in them. She's like, it'll help your energy. And I was like, but I don't want to eat anything. She's like, get the juice. And I
Right.
listened to her. And the days that I listened to her about what I was eating, I had more energy. So really for the partner, the birthing partner, help your birthing person through some of those cravings. The other ways that you can support them during the pregnancy process and the birthing process is get on board with the birthing classes. Highly recommend hypnobirthing classes. Highly recommend midwifery. Highly recommend
Mhm,
doulas. Highly recommend. Get on board with that.
mhm,
Talk with your partner about their birth plan before 8 months.
mhm,
Really talk about what they want. Because if you are doing a hospital birth, you will need to advocate for your partner.
mhm.
I don't mean to knock doctors. I'm sure not all doctors are the same way, but they look at it as a medical procedure. They don't look
Right.
at it as we're born to do this. We're built to do this. Our bodies are meant to give birth.
Mhm,
And I'll just touch on that a little bit. I don't remember how long ago it was, but all of the books on birth for doctors, all the case studies were about abnormal births. They didn't have
um,
anything to study on a healthy, natural, normal birth.
interesting.
So
Okay.
they created this textbook of what a birth should look like. And if you're not dilated a certain amount at a certain time, they want to induce. If you're not dilated, effaced at a certain time, they want to break your water. Like all these things because it's not looking textbook. But
Mhm,
we just talked about how every woman is different, every birth is different, every pregnancy is different. And
mhm,
so partners, get on board with your girl,
mhm.
just get
Yeah.
on board with her birth story, support her. If she's not or birth plan, if she's not sure what she wants for birth plan, help her do the research. Right? It's
Right.
really overwhelming.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
and be her advocate in that hospital. If she doesn't want to be checked and that nurse comes in for the fourth time in 20 minutes, kick her out of there, because the last
Right.
thing your woman wants to do is be breathing through contractions and focusing on calming herself and on the ball and whatever, and then telling her to leave. That's the last thing she wants to do.
Right, right. I feel like there's often there's a stigma around people seeking help for mental health things just in general, right? But I would imagine that there's also a stigma for seeking help for postpartum mental health issues. What would you say to moms who might feel ashamed or hesitant to reach out for support?
Fuck her stigma. Like,
Yes.
fucking who cares? Like, girl, this is your baby and this is you, and you want to be the
Yeah.
best version of you for your baby. So fuck everybody else. Sorry about
Yeah.
all the F-bombs.
I love it.
You're
I
saying you're
love
like
it.
bleeping them out.
Oh,
Bleep that.
you know I don't bleep anything out on this
I know,
show.
I know.
Absolutely
I know, I know.
not.
Um, no, seriously, like, who the fuck cares? Like, get over like what other people think. Like, honestly, if
Yeah,
you don't have the time or the energy to worry about that postpartum, forget it.
right,
Yeah,
right.
just do
What
it.
the this whole thing can be like obviously overwhelming for anybody involved, whether obviously for the person giving birth and the partner and the family and all that. And adding on to all of that, the task of finding help, right, can be overwhelming, right? Because even if you're I know for me, when I was initially looking for help just from a, ADHD standpoint, like that in and of itself was difficult. So to be able to, I can only imagine what it's like to want to seek help while either pregnant or trying to get pregnant or after giving birth, and you have so much going on mentally and physically, so a lot of it can be very overwhelming. So what are some things that moms should look for when trying to figure out what therapist or counseling service or whatever that what's something that can help them, what's something that they can look for
Yeah.
to to help them in that journey?
So I'm looking for mental health. There's this acronym, PMHC, postpartum mental health counselor. That is somebody that has taken the class, taken the test, paid the money,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
is passionate about the population. So that's something you can look for. And I think I said this on one of your podcasts before. Most therapists will do a free 15-minute consultation.
Hmm.
Take the consultation before you book your intake. Um, Interview them. Trust your gut. If you find like something's funny or something's off, or it feels too salesy, or it feels too dry, or it feels too clinical, or whatever you're not looking for or looking for, trust your gut. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. Doesn't
Right.
matter how credentialed they are. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it.
Right, right. I love this. You see, this is, I can tell that you're in your element here. This is your favorite topic. I can tell. I can see it in your eyes and hear it in your voice.
I'm very passionate about it. So, I'll give you a sneak peek. We're developing a coaching program right now for
Ooh, is that an
postpartum.
exclusive? Some
It
exclusive
is It
information?
is some exclusive
Tell me more.
information. It is in the works. We just got
Mhm,
our LLC and we're developing some of the content right now, but there will
mhm.
be a members area. There will be coaching. This will be nationwide, not just for Florida.
Wow.
Um,
Wow, look at you.
yes, I like it that much. So,
Yeah,
we're in the work. So we're hoping by
that's
the end of the
exciting.
summer to have all the content and start web building.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny you say that because actually one of the questions that I wanted to ask was in regards to postpartum mental health and just being a person that's working, right? Whether you're an entrepreneur or you have your 9 to 5, and maybe you have to work your way, back to the office, after having a baby, whatever it may be. What advice would you give to moms that have their baby, they've gone through this process, and now it's time for them to, maybe go back to their office and start working again, or maybe it's time for them to do whatever it was they were doing before that. What
Right.
what advice would you say to them?
Oh, well, when you were talking about this, I was going in two different directions, because there are some moms where it's really fucking hard to go back to work and they don't
Yeah.
want to separate with their baby. I was one of them.
Yeah.
I quit my job
Hmm.
because I just didn't want to
Yeah.
do it. I opened a private practice because I didn't want to send her to daycare. Some
Yeah.
moms are in their element at work and they can't wait to get back to the office. Like it's
Mhm.
overwhelming with a new part, and they're just like, I can't do it. Right. And so every mom has a different experience with it. Right.
Yeah.
And neither one is wrong. Society
Mhm.
expects you to work like you don't have children and parent like you don't have work. And it's
Mhm.
really, really awesome. So
Mhm.
if in your heart you don't want to go back to work, if in your heart it doesn't feel right to you, talk with your partner,
Mhm.
come up with a plan. Maybe you have to go back to work for a year, but you can plan to be home after that.
Yeah.
Really lean into your support group and see what is financially feasible. What are your
Yeah.
goals as a family, right? And these are all things that couples should be talking about before they're in this position.
Right.
What if? Because I always thought I was going to be a boss bitch. I was like, please, I'll hold meetings with my baby, like I'll baby wear and hold meetings. And
Yeah.
like I just thought that because I loved what I did at the time, and I just didn't think that becoming a mother was going to change that, and it did.
Yeah.
And so, knowing the financial goals of the family. Like for us, yeah, we want to expand financially, but we also don't want to put our lifestyle at risk, like with lifestyle with the family. Like we wanted to
Mhm.
still have family time.
Mhm.
Um, so I think just really staying in tune with your partner and knowing what your goals are. And if it's not feeling right, see what your
Mhm.
options are.
Right.
Maybe it's part-time instead of full-time. Maybe it's looking for something remote so you can work from home and have, grandma or a
Mhm.
nanny come in and whatever. Like there's so many things. And if you're going back to work and like people are giving you a hard time, you're going back to work already, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Fuck them, man. If you
Yeah.
feel in
Yeah.
your element at work and you're like happy and you're good with, nanny at the house, more power to you, girl.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I think so much of it is just really honoring and being authentic to like you and your heart and what you want for your family.
Right. Right.
Like
Right.
one of my dear friends, she's a badass pediatric dentist in South Florida. She's amazing. Her
Mhm.
kids in her kids in daycare, 9 to 5 or whatever, and the nanny picks the baby up and da, da, da. And she, you know what? But she's like, I want to be able to travel with my kid. I want to be able to do family vacations and be present when I'm not at work. And so she hustles hard.
Yeah, yeah. I admire that. Like that's just like truly badass. To because I like to not only be badass in that sense of, whether it be taking the chance of quitting your job and just being like there, with your
Yeah.
kid, all the time, or, being an entrepreneur or being a badass business person or, whatever it may be, doing that all while you created this human being inside of your body
Mm-hmm.
and and nurtured it and like gave birth to like that is just like
Yeah.
true superhero shit.
Yep.
Like
It's funny listening to you talk. It reminded me of this other subculture that I don't know why I blaze over because it is me. But one of my girlfriends is also of this subculture, and we were talking about how we're work from home at home mothers, which is a
interesting.
whole
Okay.
other ballgame, right? If you're an office mom, you clock out from mom, you go to the office. You clock out from the office, you go to mom. When you work from home, it's mom and boss, mom and
Ooh,
employee, mom,
yeah.
and you're toggling all day long. Even so, my girl goes part time to school 3 days a week. She's out at 3.
Hmm.
But even then, right? If she's gone and I have a break, I'm doing laundry, I'm doing the dishes, I'm doing other mom
Hmm.
household things. There is
Right.
no clock out. And
Hmm.
so you're constantly toggling. And so while you were talking about this, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna just name drop her, my friend Riva.
Yeah.
Um, she's also an amazing grief therapist here in Florida.
Yeah.
But yeah, she has her own business. She's in school to be a therapist. She's on her last legs here in school, and her kid was at home up until just last summer.
Yeah.
And just toggling it, like
Yeah.
it's hard.
Right. Right. This is really, really good information. I know for a fact that my audience is really going to like get something out of this. And again, for anybody that is not a subscriber, you can subscribe to me on Instagram and Facebook because right after we finish recording this today, you and I were gonna play a little game of Would You Rather. and it's going to be fun, and it's going to be exclusively for the subscribers. So you can subscribe. It's only 99 cents a month, and not only will you get fun videos like that, but I document my life from a mental health standpoint, and I give tips and tricks from my journey, things that I've learned, and just behind the scenes looks at my life that I don't post anywhere else, because it's a safe space for me. So if you want videos like that and the fun stuff that I'm about to do with Chelsie after we're done recording here, then go to either my Facebook page or my Instagram profile and subscribe for only 99 cents a month.
Do it.
Yes, do it. Dang it. Chelsie, you're amazing. Like, there's a reason that I always get excited when I see the email come through that you've booked time with me. And it's really exciting. And my schedule has opened up because I haven't talked much about this, but I plan on talking about it this week. So I left my job. Because I want to take my life in a new direction, and I'm in the process of trying to out west to San Diego. I know, and I've been very quiet about it over the last couple of months, but I'm starting to manifest some shit because I'm waiting on a couple dominoes to fall. So I'm really excited about that. So.
I'll miss you on the East Coast.
What's up?
I'll miss you on the East Coast.
I'm just done with seasons. I don't need seasons anymore.
What are you doing?
Florida?
Yeah.
No.
It's cheaper than San Diego.
It is. Everything's cheaper than San Diego. San Diego is literally one of the most expensive cities in the country. But Florida, no. Absolutely not.
Really?
Absolutely not. No. Absolutely not.
You didn't have the right tour guide.
No. There's ain't no way. I will happily visit Florida. I will happily give you a high five in South Florida. Live there? No, absolutely not. No, hell no.
Let's talk offline.
Yeah,
or for subscribers.
Absolutely not. No, I'm good. I'm good. With that said, Chelsie, just some before we wrap up and we jump into the would you rather part. What final words of wisdom would you give? And I know this is your favorite question that I ask all the time. What final words of wisdom would you like to share with the people listening right now, particularly new moms who might be struggling with their postpartum mental health? And one of the reasons why I ask this is two of my closest friends, two of my best friends, shout out to Nikki and Christine.
What up, girls?
They're like my best friends, and they both just had their first their first babies. And then shout out also to my bestie Hops, who is a mom, and I think her daughter is maybe like 3 or 4 years old. And so some of the closest people in my life are moms, and I love them to death, and I would do anything for them. What advice would you share with new moms who are struggling with their postpartum mental health right now?
You don't have to struggle alone. And I think I give you always the same answer, go get help. Go get help. And I know you might feel guilty not having your baby for the hour that you're in therapy. So then put your baby on your boob, give your baby a bottle, hold your baby. Like us postpartum support therapists, we don't care, bring your baby to session. Let's go.
Yeah.
If you don't want to go into a therapy room, then get a virtual therapist. Let's go. Just don't white knuckle it, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love that. Thank you. Honestly, thank you so much for your insight, your expertise, and for sharing that. And if you're listening right now and you're like, hey, this Chelsie person's really cool, I'm going to include all of Chelsie's links and stuff in the description of this podcast, so you can go check out her practice, Healthy Minds and More, especially if you are in the Florida area, the place that I'm not living.
We're virtual, so we're all over Florida.
There you go. So yeah, no matter where you are, Healthy Minds and More. There's a reason that I have Chelsie on all the time. It's because her expertise and her the other people that are practice as well are just people that know what they're talking about, and they have your best interest at heart. And I love the idea of the holistic approach to mental health in general. And it's really, really important because we were talking earlier, medicine isn't always the answer.
Or medicine only.
Yeah, medicine only is not always the answer. You gotta add a little more to it in order for you to really be top notch.
Gotta Emerald Lagasse that shit. Bam.
Yes, exactly. Or what's the Salt Bay? You got a Salt Bay, sprinkle some antidepressants on your life. Oh man, that's me. That's me every day. With that said, my friends, don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you share this episode with any people that you feel would be that this would be very beneficial from. You can also visit my website at thevibewithkai.com, where I have a blog where I post multiple times a week with mental health stuff that I think you would really enjoy. So thank you so much for being a part of the Viber family. Thank you, Chelsie, for being a guest. Once again, can't wait to talk to you with some Would You Rather stuff. As always, my friends, much love, good vibes, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.